Delving more into the economy of the country, how do you foresee the Philippine economy? Are there, because recently it looks good now,
Yes,
everything, people are in buying mode,
yes,
people are spending.
yes,
Any threats or challenges that you foresee down the road?
yes. I think I'll split that into external and internal. Internally, I think you're absolutely correct. That buying, that consumption is driven because of a population that's young, a population that is aspirational, right? And a population that is relatively wealthier than what it was previously. And once you reach a certain per capita income, certain age, your needs change, right? Aspirations change. People want to travel, people want to buy a home, and so on and so forth. So as that change happens, it creates an opportunity for the country to uplift, right? Um, I think that is very important. What's critical, I think, is to be able to provide employment opportunities or productive opportunities for the people that we have. Because I think young population needs to be engaged, needs to be productive, and needs to be able to generate capacity or to create wealth, right? What could potentially derail it, in my mind, is the fact that we have a very low savings rate. So our capital formation in the country is quite limited, right? And in order to create that next stage, you need capital. So I think we need to be a bit more open with regards to foreign direct investment. I think there are certain sectors that need more competition. I think we need to be exposed more with the rest of the world. You mentioned about the banking industry. I've been away since 1998. So I was expatriated by Citibank in 98 and I did not come back until 2022 late. So I was out for a long time. Um, it's actually sad to say that some other countries have outstripped us, right? Indonesia, we used to export people there. I think they're now a few years ahead of us in terms of development. Same thing for Vietnam. They've kind of just leapfrogged. And then never mind Indonesia, Malaysia, or Singapore even. And those guys have really just outstripped us. So I think what we need to do is to be able to open up and really catch up. We spoke earlier about COVID. I think the Philippine digital penetration was very, very low before COVID. And during COVID, we were forced, right? The other countries were already ramping up, right?
Even prior to the pandemic, but with the Philippines,
Yeah.
we were forced to.
Exactly. We were forced to accelerate that whole process. And I think that's what we need to do is to accelerate that much faster because I really think that we really need to catch up in some of the things that we're offering, no? Not just for payments right now, which is kind of prevalent, but more around credit, access to financing, and so on. Externally, my biggest fear is around great power rivalry, right? Particularly between the US and China. And you kind of, I also study quite a fair bit of history, and it's always worrying when there are great power changes and shifts, right?
Yeah. It seems to be shifting more towards China now.
Well,
And
yes,
there's a lot of chaos
correct, and
surrounding
that's
the
a problem
US.
because any of
Political,
that shift will create chaos,
yeah.
right? I hope we are not we're not caught in the crossfires, right? Unfortunately, we're in the vicinity, and unfortunately, also we have some issues, right? And I think that's something that we probably should try to see if we could avoid, right? Because that is really important that we have this generation that can actually surpass. We need to get wealthy before we get old, right? And I think that's something that I think our leaders should think about is how to give that opportunity. And some of that is around stability, right? You need to have a stable economy. You need to have a stable environment where people can get on with things and focus on their lives. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll have that. I think there will be more volatility, there will be more variability, chaos, as you mentioned. But as they say, there's also opportunity in chaos, right? So I think that's also the flip side to the whole thing. But I just wish we have some stable time that we could actually grow our economy. It's our time, no? I really should think so.